Right. I think we'll let the rest of the attendees slowly roll in, and let's get started. So good morning, and thank you all for joining this webinar today. My name is Ayla Vals, and I'm Marketing and Communications Coordinator within Van Ameyde Group. Today we'll discuss future readiness empowered by AI with a focus on positive impacts of responsible AI on individuals as well as companies. In this era where AI is transforming industries, the key to success lies not in just adopting the new technologies, but in leading with them. So, whether you're an executive team leader or change maker, hopefully this session will equip you with the tools to lead with AI and not just alongside it. So, for those who are less familiar with us, a short introduction. Van Ameyde Group is a global conglomerate with over 35 affiliated companies operating in more than 100 offices across 30 countries. We have Van Ameyde branded companies as well as unique companies that we've acquired and merged with over the years. We've become a leader in claims and risk management, committed to transforming how insurance and related industries tackle complex challenges, enhancing efficiency and precision in claims processing. We serve diverse businesses and industries and provide international clients with interim staffing, claims software, marine surveying, loss adjusting, valuations, and much more. That's a little bit about us. Please visit our website to find out more about our services and locations. Now, more importantly, I'd like to turn it over to change agent, Silicon Valley futurist, and award-winning keynote speaker Jennifer Vessels with us today. Jennifer, thank you for joining us. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts and takeaways, so please take it away.
Thank you. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here. As Ida said, I am from Silicon Valley. I've led transformative growth and change for large companies like Adobe, Cisco, Microsoft, as well as a number of scale-up and growth companies across all industries, including financial services. When I think back to 2020, which is only 5 years ago, but seems a very long time in the past, I crossed the bridge and came over to Europe in January, end of January 2020, with a vision to help companies and leaders really embrace change and technology to create a new world. Now, when I reflect back in January of 2020, digitalization was top of the agenda for almost every corporation around the world. And people had long plans and details and strategies of how they were going to digitalize. Then, March of 2020, digitalization happened. In Silicon Valley, we have a phrase: innovation is born through necessity. Globally, people needed technology in order to work, study, live, travel, and interact. And within the period from March of 2020 until July of 2020, society digitalized 3,000 times faster than in the previous decade because we needed the technology in order to be human. During that period and the following year, the more we used and became comfortable with technology, the more we shared, the more that increased the data pools and gave a lot more user experience to sit on top of the deep research that had been going on and the technological investments that had been made over the last 30 years. This is why in November of 2023, this thing called ChatGPT suddenly came into being and took the world by storm. That was simply the beginning. AI, artificial intelligence, which has been developed, researched, and utilized in many environments for the last 20 years, became mainstream based on user experience data and further advances in technology. That was only the beginning. Because today, with further advances in technological power through GPUs, special processing units designed for advanced technology, AI can be built into things like autonomy, can be used to speed developments in faster computing systems, and can be leveraged for industrial uses to prevent people from having to be in challenging, dangerous areas to maintain equipment. That can be done through digital twins. And that carries on through the various ranges of what's considered advanced technology, all powered by technology, people working together to solve problems to make life better for people. So, as a Silicon Valley innovator, I believe this is all really, really cool, and that we're at a tipping point where we as people have an opportunity to explore, embrace, and responsibly use technology to take society to a whole new level. Now, I do recognize that I am from Silicon Valley, and some of you may be looking at all of this saying, oh my God, I just simply want to hide away and go back to where we were 10 years ago and carry on business as usual. Well, you do have options today. Unfortunately, simply hiding away is not one of them. Technology, society is at a tipping point, and change will continue. The option that I would suggest you think about is shifting your mindset. There are people who view technology and the future and change as the end of the world, the crisis. I view it as an opportunity. And I believe that if you can look at technology and understand it, explore it, gain benefits from it, small steps at a time, you will begin to see that this is an opportunity to do more of what you enjoy, to empower your teams, to be more productive and more satisfied in their work. But it starts with mindset and thinking technology is not the big bad wolf, but it's actually, in ways, what will take us forward in positive manner, just like that fast digitalization did during the vast period of COVID back 5 years ago. It starts with mindset of, yes, I want to explore, but then beginning to understand what is this thing called AI. In short, AI is computer software. It's programming today. It's based on numerical. It's I's and O's. You tell it what to do, and it does it. I view AI as kind of like a kitchen knife. It's a tool. It's a tool that is designed for a purpose, to make it easier for us to do certain things. Just like a good knife makes it a lot easier to make a fabulous dinner. Now, that knife, just like AI, used inappropriately, or that knife put in the hands of somebody with negative intent, someone who wants to stab, maim, kill someone, that knife can be dangerous. AI is the same. It's a tool. Used with positive intent, it makes life so much better. If it goes into the hands of people with negative intent, it can cause problems. Determining is it good or bad is up to the way you look at it. If you look at it as positive and you view it as a tool that needs supervision as opposed to unleashed on its own, then you have the perfect win-win of using technology and people. So understand what it is, view it as a tool, and then begin to explore what is this tool really designed for, and how can this tool be used within my team? Just as you would if you hired a new employee. Let's look at the capabilities and the competencies of AI. AI is good at doing things that require a lot of detail, going deep. It's good at analytical. Remember, it's based on numbers. So it can analyze in a structured, logical way vast quantities of data that allows it to be good at researching. It can look out to thousands of documents and systems in seconds. It's good at repetitive, methodical, producing things. It's excellent for the tedious, mundane task for which people can get distracted. People can oversee things without really seeing them. They need to go to the bathroom from time to time. Time sensitive things, technology is great at. Things where creativity, innovation, thinking outside the box, using human intuition and empathy, applying context of the real situation and the customer background. That's what people are good at. The things that are kind of squishy, the things that really drive success, while AI and technology does the actual detailed work. Let me give you an example of one of my clients. This is actually a financial services institution based in the US with offices around the United States and partners globally. And they work primarily with corporates. So they have some personal accounts. And in their corporate office, they, for many years, have had a vast customer service team. And that team was divided into sections. Some processed applications for new accounts, applications for loans. Some processed claims for fraud or other issues, and some processed basic customer issues about their accounts. All of these were uploaded either to a portal or sent in via email or phone calls. In 2020, 2021, they were having a huge problem in turnover of these 200 people that were sitting looking at a screen 8 hours a day, receiving and incoming, going back, looking into different systems, checking credit history, processing all of that, and then sending back a reply. Typically, each customer situation that they dealt with could take them anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. And they sometimes had a 2-week, 3-week, 6-week backlog. Turnover was about 45% in the first year. The operations director, so there's got to be a better way. There is this thing called AI. Let me go out and find a tool, or what could be a tool, that is designed for financial services institutions that can process detailed incomings, applications, and requests, that can look into different databases, and that can actually draft replies to customers. He found one that allowed a claim, an incoming, a request, an application to be processed in 5 seconds instead of 15 to 45 minutes. Great news. Using that tool, these customer service people were needed very carefully to oversee the tool, to make the tough decision calls on the 10% of requests that needed oversight. So he was able to reduce the staff needs from 200 down to 35. Okay, what happened to the other 165 is probably what you're wondering. Their managers spoke one-to-one with each of them and understood what each of those people really enjoyed doing in their work, how they wanted to develop their skills, and explored new opportunities within B of A. Some went into account management, true customer experience, meeting with the corporate accounts. Some went into financial analysis. Some went into accounting. All of those people that had been sitting behind the computer that didn't want to be there were released to do what they do best, all within B of A. That team's turnover went from 45% in the first year down to 5% in the first year. And their customer satisfaction went up 300% because no longer was there a 2 or 3 week wait to have an application processed. It was done in seconds. Technology and people used together create success. And it's not just B of A. Corporations around the globe are implementing technology to deliver real results. And that's improvement in speed, but also quality. Remember, AI and technology is better at details. It doesn't get distracted. Quality check, analysis, allow the tech to do that using the person to understand and interpret how it can apply in the business situation, which ultimately leads to improvements in not only performance, but actual improvements in bottom line results. And for reasons I don't understand, I can no longer click. There we go. Now I can click the screen. Leads to bottom line results, as shown by this study from McKinsey on EBITDA profitability through the right use of technology and people. Ultimately, this is very good for people because it is releasing them from the kinds of things they're not as good at or interested in doing. And it's creating more new jobs, as reported by the World Economic Forum this year. Those new jobs are primarily human-oriented roles: customer service, communications, critical thinking, visionary. How are we going to take our business forward as we leverage technology? Those are unique human capabilities, which is what we're better at as people. So how do you actually get started? Or for those that have already started leveraging AI and technology, how can you take it forward? I work with companies in all different industries and consistently see some things that work and some things that don't. Starting with tech for tech's sake is one of those that doesn't work. I've seen people say, we're going to go out and we're going to double down on Copilot and we're going to allow people to use ChatGPT and we'll see what happens. That can create chaos. I recommend you move forward with what I call peace, starting with purpose. Define a problem within your team, within the organization that you haven't been able to solve. Like B of A defined a problem of how do we keep customer service people? Think about within that problem, are there areas that AI could offload people? Could maybe advance how much research we could do? Could be better at finding issues? And then go out and explore. What is the right AI tool that could solve this problem? It might be a general purpose tool like Microsoft Copilot. If it's meetings that you're trying to reduce, maybe there's a way of using Copilot or Zoom's assistant or other assistant to refine your meetings. If it's a broader, how do we process claims or risk information differently? Maybe it's a purpose-built tool, but explore broadly. And when you see something that you think, maybe this could help us, try it. AI technology is growing at exponential rate right now. Don't wait to take a course or read a book or see where it's going. Just simply try it. Try it in small segments for a few days, for a week, and collaborate with others. There is no one person on this planet that is an expert at how AI is going to solve your problem. This is an opportunity to create together with others. I advise a lot of my clients to set up bi-weekly learning labs, a fancy way of saying bringing the team together every Friday, every other Friday for an hour to share what tool did you use in this last period? What worked? What didn't work? What failed? What are you afraid of? Let's learn together as we explore how AI can solve problems, allowing people to do what they do best. And as you find things that are working in small segments, then empower others. Empower others to embrace it, utilize it, and begin to explore new problems that either that tool or other tools could be there to solve. AI is a tool. It, combined with the creativity, innovative mindset, intuition, empathy of people, can create a whole new world. And my Silicon Valley optimist view is that world can be made up of peace, where people solve problems through exploring, using, collaborating, and empowering technology to create a better future. So I invite you indeed to explore and to explore where that Ameyde and AI can best help you in this process. And with there, I'll turn back over to Ila to share perspective.
Thanks a lot, Jennifer. I think we should definitely all move forward with peace. So I think that's definitely an important takeaway. And what you shared today really resonates with Von Ameyde's own responsible innovation as we explore AI's potential. Our focus is also clear. Technology should empower and not replace our people and help deliver even greater value to our clients. And we do believe AI is helping make humans more human, and we see that and we put that into action as well. So I'm curious to see how this relationship continues to develop in the future. So for all attendees, if you're interested in learning how Von Ameyde uses AI within our claims processes, please visit our website, download our Echo Claims platform brochure, and I'll also share a link with you after this webinar. If you'd like to contact us for any reason, feel free to reach out via our email address, marketing@vonameyde.com, and we'll put you in contact with the right people. And for everybody who found this webinar interesting or educational, Jennifer will be joining us again with a follow-up webinar in Q3, so please keep an eye out for that as well. In the meantime, we'd like to open the floor up to all of you. Do you have any questions for Jennifer? I'm sure you do, so please don't be shy. And I'll share a poll in the meantime to get you thinking.
And I do love questions, so please. Questions or debate. If you disagree, please, let's discuss.
And feel free to fill in the poll, it's anonymous, so. Interesting to see the submissions. And maybe I have a question in the meantime, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I think maybe quite a common question. We hear it everywhere, but I'm curious to hear your perspective. What effect will this have on jobs? And for example, the entry level jobs that next generations will want to jump into, just like we all did, for example. Maybe to put it in perspective, entry level claims handling or intake, or you name it.
Great question that I do get very, very often. And so I believe kind of two sides of that. One is we do see much more growth in jobs that are human oriented, because the more we use technology, the more we appreciate that human context. So that's overall. For entry level people, the folks coming out of college today, what sometimes is referred to as Gen Zers, I believe this is a huge opportunity, because those folks, number one, have been using technology. They are truly digital natives their entire life. They've been utilizing AI, sometimes extensively, in their college, in their studies. And so they bring a whole new level of skills and capability into the company that no other generation has brought. And from my experience working with them, both within my own firm and within our clients, they have learned how to use the technology, especially AI, to achieve their challenges much faster than many other people. So that's kind of one thing. They bring a new level of skills compared to the previous. Secondly, most entry level people coming in today have no desire to start at that basic level, doing the customer service, doing the what we used to call filing, doing the administration. That's not something they really want to do. What they want to do is to come in, collaborate with other people, make a difference, have an impact, define where and how they can really grow in their career using technology. So, from my experience and belief, they don't want what many of us experienced as entry level jobs. So, the fact that those will be done by technology is actually a feature to them. That is actually a good thing. What they can bring is the knowledge of how to best leverage AI and tech to help a team and a group and a department advance in different ways.
I agree with you, Jennifer. Thank you for your response. I see another question has come in. through our Q&A. While using AI for claims handling, how can we keep a human touch with customers?
Oh,
And a comment.
from my point of view, and I'll be interested in your answer on that, but from my point of view, it's a huge opportunity in that if it's a simple claim request or it's a simple process, then probably you would not have a human touch. If it's a more complex situation, that can be a great opportunity for that overseer of the technology, the customer service, true customer service manager. That's a great opportunity for them to reach out to the customer by freeing that customer service manager's time from processing the claim. That time can be used to make a phone call, to send a personalized email. Your claim request has been processed. We'd really love to understand more about your environment and how we can help you in the future. It can really deepen the true customer relationships. That's certainly what we saw with B of A. They took their customer relationships to a whole new level because people then had time to actually reach out and interface and show empathy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because during some parts, and especially the beginning parts of the process, the human touch is not necessary, it's not needed, it's not important during those phases. So to free up, for example, a claims handler's time for where their intelligence and empathy is needed later on, it only strengthens the human touch, right? So
Exactly, exactly. And if you're redeploying people, redeploy some that want to work with customers into sales roles. Maybe if they're using Ameyde for automobiles, maybe they have a boat. Let's have them reaching out and making those conversations.
completely agree. Yeah. And maybe I'm not sure if anybody else has any questions. We'll wait a little bit longer, but I'm curious to also hear from you what are the biggest misconceptions about AI today? I think we've already had the really obvious one.
Yeah.
It's going to take all of our jobs. Um, are there any other misconceptions that you can think about that we can put an end to the myths?
Sure, there's kind of the next level of misconception of it will become human and it will take over on its own. Um, I don't believe that is at all feasible because it is based on technology and I's and O's. It is a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of process. It does not have the human empathy, intuition, all of those elements. So the fact that there are theories that it will be the end of society, that is a complete misconception. Other things that I often hear is that by using AI, companies will give away their secrets. And that's something that I think is a great example of where human intelligence needs to be leveraged with AI. Because as you select the kind of AI tool that you're going to use to solve your problem, you need to think about, do I want to use an open source kind of tool like a chat GPT or a public version of Microsoft Copilot? And if you do, I would strongly suggest you think through what kind of materials you might upload to it or share with it. Because those kinds of tools, when you upload something, maybe it's your 2026 strategy document, that's going out into a public domain. The likelihood that that's going to be read, used in any way is tiny. But if you're concerned, think about finding a tool or applying a internal single tenant version of a tool where it stays within your environment. Many of our clients have done that with Microsoft Copilot. They have their own little environment. So making sure if you're uploading information, if you're sharing confidential data, that you do it in your own environment. That keeps you safe. So this misconception of anyone that uses AI and technology is putting everything out to the world, that's a misconception. But choose which tool and how you utilize it.
Thanks,
It's
Jennifer.
also
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I think those are two really good ones, because the first one that always comes to my mind is about jobs, but that's a really good one, especially regarding security and risk and compliance, for example. Extremely interesting, and also what you mentioned before about will AI take over and become human? And I thought, well, I thought that was a misconception that people are less worried about now, and especially with the wide use of, for example, ChatGPT or
Mhm.
Copilot. But I mean, I do see in the poll that the responses that we see, 33% of the respondents said maybe AI will steer humans in the far future, right? So I think that is definitely a worry that may still be floating around or in the back of people's minds. I also see some other questions coming in
Yeah.
now. Um, I see, isn't technology, AI, making people lazier? We used to know phone numbers by heart, and now we don't.
That is a great, great question. And I think aspects, yes, like phone numbers. I might argue, do we really, really need to use our brain processing to remember 40 different phone numbers? Or could our brain be used to think differently and create something new? So there's that aspect. I fundamentally believe that use of technology, effective use of technology like AI, requires us to do and think more than in the past. For example, if you need to create, let's say, a LinkedIn post, in the past, you might have spent an hour pondering it, thinking about it, writing it, redrafting it, looking for pictures, etc. There is a tendency for people to say, oh, I'll outsource that to Chat GPT and say, I need a post on blah, blah, blah. It creates it, upload it, all done. I can now go to the beach. That's the lazy way. But that's not always effective. And trust me, I see a lot of LinkedIn posts that have been written that way and they're not working. Compared to the person that uses the brain, uses the empathy, uses the context, that says, I want to create a LinkedIn post that will attract insurance providers that are struggling with how to maintain their customer service reps. And I want it to really target people in Europe that have tried these different tools. That's so I know what I'm targeting. Now I spend 20 minutes creating a prompt into Chat GPT, looking at what it says, revising, regenerating, and it comes up with a very good LinkedIn post that I now post that gets 1,000 times more response because you've really thought through what you want the tool to do. That's just one simple area, but that's an example of using the creativity and the intention of the human brain, letting the tool do the writing and find the picture and all of that stuff.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I'll move right along because I see we have a couple more questions.
Excellent.
Sometimes the simple claims can be the most emotive. Completely agree. Doesn't matter how simple or complex. Um, they go on to say AI generally looks at things black and white. And this is a twofold question. One, will AI eventually be able to look at these types of gray areas? And will AI cause your Gen Z to lose the ability to look outside the box and learn empathy?
Great questions. I think on the emotive side, the answer is actually yes. And we're seeing advances today in the fact that AI trained correctly around a specific topic with the right tools and prompting and guidance of the AI can detect emotion. It can determine those levels of potential challenge, issue, and whether people are dissatisfied and satisfied. That is possible today. But again, it's in isolated situations. Will that develop over time where AI can express, if you will, emotion and detect emotion? Probably so. Um, I do still see that there's the human role that needs to oversee it because AI is not perfect. We can't just turn it loose. We need the human capabilities. And then so one more time on the Gen Z question. I have now forgotten what you
Yes,
said.
yes. Will AI cause Gen Z to lose the ability to look outside the box and to learn empathy?
Yeah, I don't think AI will cause Gen Z to do that. I do think that from my experience, Gen Z folks in general tend to be very digitally oriented. They have grown up with technology, and they need support, they need coaching, they need role models to help them interact with people and to be able to express and develop that empathy. So without human interaction, if they were simply left to be at their own devices, working on their own, I think there is a chance that they would not develop to the level of their capacity. But in managing a Gen Zer, the manager needs to really be aware of opportunities to coach and develop that skill and that capability.
Agreed. And I think we're out of time. I see a couple more questions. Let me see. Um, what would the what would be the biggest risk for a company like Von Ameyde when adopting AI, and how do we avoid it? I think you kind of touched on this as well a little bit. To be fair, I think within the insurance industry, I think all the risks are quite similar, but maybe one of them, for example, is like you said, the privacy or data issue, but we're not just entering all data into a generative source. And but please, what would
Yes,
be the
I
biggest
think
risks?
that's one big risk. The other big risk is for people to use AI believing it is perfect and to just delegate and walk away. Whenever you use AI, you need to have a level of oversight. It makes mistakes, hallucinations. It leaves things out sometimes. It misses things. It sometimes makes things up. So you can't just turn on the AI switch and walk away and go to the beach. You still need to use your human capability to review, to discern, and to determine how you want to leverage what it comes up with.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. I think we touched on all questions now, but I can understand that people have more questions that pop up later. So if that is the case, everybody, please don't hesitate to reach out to Jennifer or to Von Ameyde directly via our websites, LinkedIn accounts, or via email. Thank you all very much for joining us today, and of course you, Jennifer, for the extremely interesting presentation and for answering our questions. Much appreciated.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to the next session in Q3.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.